All right, what's up everyone? My name's Justin, I'm with the Roadkeeper Home Team, and you're on our channel, Everything Jax Real Estate. In this video, we're gonna be doing our market update report for the City of Jacksonville for March of 2024. In this video, we're gonna be going over the amount of homes in the market, amount of homes going under contract, as well as the amount of homes selling, and what their prices are, as well as going over how we've seen the prices and days on market trend in the past, and as what we expect to see them trend in the future. So when I come back, we're gonna go over all of that and much more. So definitely stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So before we get started on the City of Jacksonville market update report, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you get notified when we post more content just like this in the future. In this video, like I mentioned, we're going to the City of Jacksonville market report. And what that means is we're going to start off looking at the actives and the pendings for the area for March. And what we're going to see here, first things first, is we're going to see that there was 381 homes that went pending in March, and there was roughly 1,177 homes still for sale in March. That left us with 1,558 total homes that either were on the market and still in the market, or on the market and went under contract in March. And that gave us a pendulous ratio of 24.5%. 24.5%, really what that means that for pretty much every home hitting the market, 1 out of 4 homes in the market are going under contract in March. Now, as we go further into the year, the question will be, does that number go up or does that number go down? What we also see here is that the majority of homes in the market, when we're looking at different ranges of values, the range of value that had the most homes in the market and going under contract, well, in this case going under contract, was the $200,000 to $400,000 price point. This is very normal, and the reason for it is because this is a very affordable price point. And so for the City of Jacksonville, where we have a lot of first-time home buyers, a lot of starter homes, it is not uncommon to see that be the most homes going under contract in that price range, which is a very first-time home buyer starter home price range for the area. Plus, a lot of new construction in the City of Jacksonville currently is going to be in that price point, and it's going to be typically townhouses. Not anything wrong against townhouses, but most townhouses are going to be in that price range. And so because new construction has been very popular lately for a lot of first-time home buyers, especially with insurance rates going up across the board for older homes, does not surprise me to see that that is the majority of homes going under contract. Now, when we look at homes actually hitting the market, the price range that sees the most homes in the market, at least for March, was that $400,000 to $600,000 price range. And that price range made up about 359 of the total 1,177 listings for March. We also saw that the median list price for the area was $520,000, which falls right in that $400,000 to $600,000 range. So not uncommon in that regard. Next up we're going to look at is the graph down below. In this graph, what you're going to see is a lot of the homes in Jacksonville are going to be really under $800,000. We have quite a bit of homes over that, but the majority of homes on the market and the majority of homes going under contract are homes in that $200,000 to $800,000 price point. And those price points, what you see that there's quite a bit of homes available compared to the amount of homes under contract, which means that as a buyer, you have a lot of options right now. And as a seller, it means that you have a lot of competition. Now, do not take that to mean that it's a buyer's market. Ultimately, it is still a seller's market, but also it's not the kind of seller's market we saw during COVID. Currently across the board for the area, we are starting to see inventory levels start to rise to the point where we're almost at or above pre-COVID inventory levels, which just means, again, that buyers will have more options, and as a seller, you have to be more willing to negotiate and offer up some sort of compensation or concession sometimes to get your home sold. We saw too there was 2,129 contracts that closed in the last 6 months with the median sold price of $421,000. That's a very healthy number. It does put us a little bit above that first-time home buyer range to some degree, but it does show too that the prices in the area are staying fairly constant, and we are seeing quite a bit of homes selling despite inventory levels rising. So very important to notice that, very important to see that, because ultimately it just shows that we are still in a very healthy market despite inventory going up and rates being higher than they've been in previous years, not including the end of last year. We also saw that there was 556 homes that failed to sell, and homes failing to sell is not atypical, and ultimately that number will probably keep going down in future months as we hit this seasonality trend of the summertime for home selling. And with that being the case, again, with that number going down just points to us having a healthy market. And do keep in mind that homes are always going to fail to sell. What you don't want to see is that number increase too much. In this case, it's decreasing. And again, homes can fail to sell for many different reasons, such as the seller, may have had it overpriced. Maybe the condition didn't match the price. Maybe the realtor didn't do a great enough job marketing it. Maybe the seller had a job opportunity somewhere else and that fell through. So many different reasons can affect why exactly the home doesn't fail to sell, and it's not always to mean that it was because of price. Next up, we are going to look at days on market for the area, and we're going to start at days on market for the active homes. And what we saw is for all active homes in the area, the days on market was roughly 39 days on market at the end of March. 39 days on market is a fairly decent amount of time on the market, and the important thing to note with that is, do we see that number go up or do we see that number go down in future months, especially as we hit that busier buying time, seasonality trend of the summer? That was something to really key into. And it's also important to key into, how's that compared to the homes that are actually selling? Because just because the active homes have been in the market for a while doesn't mean that all homes are. And so what we actually see is that the homes that are actually selling in roughly 20 days. So what that means, if your home is priced appropriately, if your home is in good condition and in a good location, you're not going to fall into that 39-day marketing time period, or at least you shouldn't for the area. What you actually will be probably falling in line with is more of a 20-day marketing period to get your home under contract. And what we also saw is that even though in the last 6 months, the median price point was $421,000 for the sales, last month it rose to $440,000. So despite rates being high, despite inventory increasing, sellers are still getting more money for their house now than they did over the course of the last 6 months as a whole. So overall, it's still a very good time to sell and a very good time to buy because you have more options and more inventory. It just means that if the house is good, you just have to treat it as if, again, it doesn't have a lot of competition, because the good ones don't have a lot of competition. We also saw that the median listed sales ratio is 97.9%, so roughly 98%. And again, what that shows is because of the increased inventory, sellers are offering more concessions, they are negotiating more with buyers. And so for a buyer, you do have the ability to negotiate more now than you did maybe a couple of years ago, even at times last year. And we also saw too that the inventory level for the last 6 months was around 3.3 months of inventory. We consider that the absorption rate. And 3.3 months of inventory, we are still well below an equilibrium market where it's not a buyer's market or a seller's market, but we are higher than we were in previous years, and we're really getting to those pre-COVID levels of inventory. So just something to take into account, whether if you're looking to buy or to sell currently in this market, is the fact that inventory is higher than it's been in a couple of years. And then lastly, we're going to look at this table here. In this table, it's kind of a nice thing to look at because in this specific month, it really just highlights how price point, how supply and demand interacts with price point. And what I mean by that is what you see here is that if you're looking for a home or looking to sell your home and you're under $400,000 in your price point, you're going to probably have a lot less competition if you're a seller. If you're a buyer, you may have more competition. You may not be able to negotiate as much as you'd like. Now let's look at $400,000 all the way up to $1.4 million. If you're looking to sell in that price point, now you have a little more competition. You have a little more inventory to compete with. If you're a buyer, it means you have more options. You might be able to negotiate a little bit more than you could at some of the lower price points. And then as you can see, as the price point goes higher, supply also goes higher. And ultimately, what that tells us is there's obviously less buyers and more sellers at those higher price points. So the higher the price point you're going in at, the more willing you have to be to negotiate and more willing you have to be to potentially come off of your initial list price to get your home sold because you have competition. All that to be said, if your house is immaculate, if it's a situation where you're in that top 10%, the top 10% of homes are always gonna not fall within these trends. But for most homes, it's important to have the right realtor involved if you're looking to sell or to buy, because of the fact that it's important to know what's happening in the market to be able to make the best offer on a home or to be able to put the home out there in the best light possible to sell. So if you have any questions about this video, in the comments or in the description below is a link to my calendar. Feel free to schedule time on my calendar for us to meet face to face or even through Zoom, virtually, to go over any questions you or your family may have about the city of Jacksonville. One thing about myself is I am born and raised here in Jacksonville. I love Northeast Florida. It's an area that I see myself being for quite some time. And so ultimately, if you have any questions, I want to be able to answer them to be able to ideally make it an area that you and your family may also want to be in for quite a long time. And stay tuned for our future market update videos because we love doing these, and ultimately it helps give you, the consumer, a better idea of what's happening currently here in Jacksonville, or in this case, Northeast Florida. So until next time, I will see you guys again on our next market update report.